I emphasize this constantly during my leadership seminars. True leadership does not commence the day someone hands you a fancy title or a corner office. It actually begins the very second you decide to take ownership of something greater than your own personal checklist. The fundamental distinction between a mere worker and a true leader isn't found in their daily actions, but rather in the architecture of their thoughts. A worker typically asks, "Tell me what I need to do," whereas a leader looks at the horizon and asks, "What is it that needs to be accomplished?" This single shift in perspective changes the entire trajectory of a career. While the worker is often consumed by the mechanics of the task, the leader is consumed by the significance of the outcome. One aims simply to finish the job. The other aims to define what the right job actually is. I reflect on the early stages of my own journey, when I was under the impression that sheer, unadulterated hard work was the sole requirement for building a fortune. I put in the long hours, followed every protocol to the letter, and honored every commitment. However, one day, a realization hit me like a lightning bolt. I was working incredibly hard inside the system, but I wasn't working on the system. I was generating results, certainly, but I was providing zero direction. This is a common pitfall that many ambitious individuals stumble into, mistaking frantic motion for genuine leadership. Leadership is rooted in thought. It isn't about the exercise of authority. It's about the presence of clarity. The defining question isn't, how can I check everything off my list? But rather, what must be prioritized first? And what is the underlying why behind it? The worker's primary lens is efficiency, doing things right. The leader's primary lens is effectiveness, doing the right things. One spends their energies polishing the rungs of the ladder, while the other steps back to ensure that the ladder is leaning against the correct wall. If you adopt the mindset of a worker, you inherently become dependent on external direction. You find yourself waiting for assignments, for orders, and for specific instructions. But if you think like a leader, you become the generator of direction. You are the one who sets the tone, defines the priorities, and carries the weight of the vision in your mind long before it ever manifests on a piece of paper. This is where true responsibility takes root, not just in performance, but in purpose. A worker concludes the day saying, "I did my job," but a leader asks, "Did my contribution actually move the needle closer to our ultimate goal?" This divergence in mindset is what separates mere management from a powerful movement. Anyone can exert physical or mental effort, but not everyone possesses the discipline to think hard. Deep thinking requires space, reflection, and the courage to question the status quo. It means looking beyond the comfortable cocoon of familiar tasks and asking, what is the ultimate point of all this effort? When you begin to think like a leader, you start to own the results rather than just the routines. You stop pointing fingers at external conditions and start shaping them. You cease waiting for opportunity to knock and begin building the door yourself. I tell people all the time, leadership is a choice you make long before it ever becomes a role you occupy. You don't simply get promoted into a leadership position. You grow into it through your character and your choices. A promotion is merely a formal confirmation of what your thinking has already proven to be true. Workers tend to measure their value by their time, while leaders measure their value by their impact. Workers strive to be busy. Leaders strive to be useful. It is this fundamental difference in perspective that transforms ordinary, day-to-day performance into extraordinary, lasting achievement. Leadership truly begins the moment you accept that the future is your personal responsibility, not your company's, not your supervisor's, but yours alone. Once that realization settles into your psyche, your behavior begins to shift instinctively. You stop showing up just to fulfill a role. You show up to make a tangible difference. This, my friends, is the bedrock of all leadership. Before you can hope to direct a team or an organization, you must first learn to direct your own internal dialogue. Workers see their specific part of the puzzle. Leaders see the entire picture. This is perhaps the simplest way to describe the difference in vision. When you think like a worker, your world often shrinks to the dimensions of your immediate assignment. You focus exclusively on your shift, your specific report, or your individual numbers. You judge your success by what is right in front of you. However, when you step into the mindset of a leader, you lift your eyes. You begin to understand how your specific part connects to every other moving piece in the organization. You see how a single decision made here can trigger 10 different results elsewhere. You start seeing the intricate web instead of just the individual thread. Perspective is what creates purpose. Without it, even the most excellent work can eventually feel hollow and meaningless. This is exactly why so many talented people lose their enthusiasm. They are incredibly busy, but they can't see where their effort fits into the grand scheme of things. It's like spending a lifetime painting a fence without ever realizing that the fence is there to protect a magnificent garden. A leader understands the context. Every action, every system, and every conversation contributes to a much larger narrative. The leader perceives the flow of events, not just the isolated fragments. While the worker asks, "What is my task?" the leader asks, "How does my task serve the overarching mission?" There is a profound divide between the mindset of a worker and that of a leader when it comes to the pursuit of progress. Most people spend their lives chasing specific goals, but very few dedicatedly pursue personal growth. A worker typically thinks in terms of completion, finishing the task, checking the box, or meeting the immediate deadline. To them, the finish line is the ultimate destination. But for a leader, the finish line is merely the starting point for the next race. Approached with greater strength and deeper wisdom, every project and every challenge carries two distinct rewards. There is what you get from it, and more importantly, there is what you become because of it. While the worker is fixated on the former, the leader places the highest value on the latter. I recall a man who once complained to me that he had hit every single sales target his company set for him, yet he remained stuck in the same position year after year. He failed to realize a fundamental truth. Hitting targets alone doesn't earn you a promotion. Growth does. You can meet every metric and still remain the exact same person you were when you started. Leadership demands a shift in the questions you ask yourself. It's not, did I complete this? But how did I evolve while doing this? When you think like a worker, you are merely building a resume, a list of things you've done. When you think like a leader, you are building a foundation, a platform of what you are capable of doing next. Only consistent growth creates that foundation. Growth rarely comes from the path of least resistance. Easy goals might generate effort, but only difficult, stretching goals create evolution. The worker asks, "Can I get this done?" While the leader asks, "What will this require me to become?" Leaders view failure differently too. While a worker might see a setback as a reason to stop, a leader views it as essential feedback. They extract the lesson and reinvest it immediately. After a project ends, a worker looks for rest. A leader looks for reflection. They analyze what went right, what could be improved, and how the experience can fortify the next endeavor. This is the compound interest of leadership, steady growth that multiplies your value over time. Remember, your achievements will always be a reflection of who you have become. If growth is your goal, achievement becomes an automatic byproduct. This leads us to the reality of influence. Real leadership isn't something handed to you with a badge. It is earned through the power of your example. While authority might buy you compliance for a day, only genuine influence earns commitment for a lifetime. A worker relies on being told what to do, but a leader inspires others to want to do it. One moves people by command. The other moves them by conviction. This is the difference between raw power and true presence. When people follow a title, they do the bare minimum. When they follow a person of character, they go the extra mile. Influence creates willing energy rather than obedient energy. Trust is the non-negotiable foundation of this influence. You cannot fake consistency or pretend to be reliable over the long term. People eventually spot the difference between a performer and a person of principle. Once trust is eroded, authority has to resort to shouting just to be heard. Leaders depend on self-governance. Their word carries weight because their actions have already proven their integrity. They honor standards, especially when no one is watching. This quiet integrity builds an invisible authority that doesn't need to be announced. It shows in how you treat people and how you remain steady under pressure. Influence begins with credibility, grows with consistency, and endures through character. Furthermore, to move from a worker's mentality to a leader's mentality, you must stop thinking in isolated tasks and start thinking in systems. This distinction determines whether your success is a one-time event or a repeatable habit. A task mindset says, let's get this done, but a systems mindset asks, how can we ensure this is done excellently every single time? A worker relies on individual effort, which is personal and limited. A leader relies on structure, which is transferable and sustainable. I always tell young professionals, don't just fix the problem, fix the process that allowed the problem to happen. If you only address the symptom, you'll be dealing with it again next week. If you fix the process, you prevent its return. Systems make success predictable. They capture discipline and design, removing randomness from performance. While a worker focuses on doing their personal best, a leader focuses on designing the conditions that bring out everyone's best. Think of a farmer. He doesn't just hope the soil will produce. He builds a system of plowing, planting, and watering so that a harvest becomes the logical conclusion. Leadership works the same way. Build patterns that make excellence the default choice. Good leaders spend more time planning and refining than they do reacting and repairing. Every hour invested in building a solid process saves 10 hours of correction later. Structure isn't a limitation, it is liberation. It frees the mind from the chaos of the now, so energy can flow toward future progress. Leaders aren't content to solve the same problems twice. They build mechanisms that make solutions permanent. The final hallmark of a leader is the ability to anticipate rather than simply respond. A worker waits for an event to occur before taking action, living in a state of constant reaction. A leader, however, looks ahead, prepares, and acts before the moment of necessity even arrives. Readiness is the foundation of calm confidence. Most of what we categorize as a crisis is actually the result of not thinking far enough ahead. You don't need a crystal ball to prepare for the future. You simply need to understand patterns. Life and business move in cycles, and opportunities always give off early signals. When you live in reaction, every day feels like an emergency. When you live in anticipation, every day feels strategic. The worker spends their energy catching up, while the leader spends theirs staying ahead. Foresight saves both time and reputation. By planning, you are telling the world that you take responsibility for what is coming, not just what is already here. Leadership is like mental chess. It's about thinking several moves beyond the immediate one, anticipating consequences, and positioning yourself wisely. This isn't paranoia, it's awareness. It's the ability to respond with purpose instead of panic. However, before you can lead anyone else, you must first master the art of leading yourself. It is impossible to inspire discipline in others if your own life is in disarray. Self-leadership is the starting point. While workers often wait for external motivation or deadlines to get moving, leaders operate from an internal compass. They live by personal standards that are higher than any imposed on them. This internal discipline shows up in the smallest details: punctuality, preparation, and consistency. If you cannot manage the small things in your own life, you will never be trusted to manage the big things in someone else's. Leading yourself means mastering your habits before you try to manage people. The worker says, when I am in charge, I will become disciplined. The leader says, I will become disciplined so that I am ready to be in charge. Every promise you keep to yourself builds strength. Every excuse you accept weakens it. Leadership isn't about being above anyone. It's about being ahead in discipline and example. There comes a moment for every serious person when they must choose to stop measuring life by motion and start measuring it by direction. The shift from worker to leader is the shift from I'm busy to I'm building. It is a transformation from dependence to direction. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It requires constant reflection and humility. But eventually, your entire approach changes. You stop chasing approval and start building results. You stop asking, "What do I get?" and start asking, "What do I become?" Remember, leaders are not born. They are built. They are built by thought, by choice, and by habit. They are built by trading frantic motion for meaningful impact and reaction for responsibility. When your thinking rises, everything else in your life will eventually follow.